can make your own platform.
Yes, you can. You can create your own, literally.
Some of you, we wish you wouldn't, but we won't go there.
Play games, and I'm like, you know what? You have something in you. It's called creativity. It's called imagination. I went back to my childhood imagination in order to create this book that I have today.
Mish Hancock, and you are listening to MichMash, a place where I get to talk to the weird, wacky, wonderful people of this world, people I adore and want to know more about. Today, my guest is Rebecca Clark. Rebecca created Witty Kids to encourage diverse literacy and teach children to be creative. Her passion is focused on the importance of channeling our imaginations at an early age and believing in endless possibilities. Yay. Hello, Rebecca.
Hello. Hi.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we met because of TEDx Gateway Art.
Yes.
So tell us about your experience.
Yes. TEDx Gateway Art. Yes.
Did you have to work a little bit for that talk?
Oh, of course.
Yes,
of
I know.
course. So
I
TEDx
know.
is something that you just do not walk into.
Oh, no.
It's a lot of preparation. A lot goes into it. But it's a good result at the end. And yeah, we actually did a small interview, like during one of our classes. You and I had a chance to do a little Facebook Live thing. But yeah, TEDx Experience, awesome. I tell everybody, like, if it's something that you can accomplish once in life, like if you desire to be like a public speaker, definitely get that under your belt if you can.
It's great education.
It is.
There's great education that, I mean, people don't. I don't know that everybody understands because it looks easy when people are up there. It looks like, oh, it's off the top of my head. Mm-hmm. I am just talking about what I do, but to make it look that easy takes an amazing amount of work.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
A lot of hours, a lot of preparation, a lot of research. Because you could be a really good public speaker.
Right.
But a TEDx is a stage where you have to deliver the information. You want people to receive it. You want them to walk away with something.
Right.
So you have to really put some time and effort into making that kind of
Because you're given a gift.
Yeah.
You are giving a gift to that audience, the gift of the idea.
Yep.
That idea that's supposed to hopefully make people sit up and go, I mean, and that's what I love about the talks. I tell people this all the time. Like, the thing about these talks and why people love them so much is from the very first statement, you're like, oh, I can't fall asleep. Nope. Oh, yeah. I got to really listen to this,
Yeah.
So
you have to grab the audience.
So what did you talk about in your talk?
Yeah, so I did. I talked about my children's book, which is Witty Kids, When Imagination Talks to You.
I love it.
Thank you. So I talked about the importance of my childhood imaginations. And that is pretty much what inspired me to write my book. My children inspired me to write my book. But just really diving into the importance of imagination and creativity and, how we just want to inspire and encourage our kids to dig a little deeper. And, like I tell my daughter all the time, because, we live in a techie type of world, right? So
right.
She wants to play the Xbox and she wants to play games. And I'm like, you know what? You have something in you. It's called creativity. It's called imagination. I give them a piece of paper and just say, write anything down that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Look outside the window and draw what you see, so it's just, that's what my talk was mainly about. Just encouraging imagination.
And don't lose it. Because, I think some people, as they get older, they start to feel beaten down and like, never mind, my imagination doesn't work. I'm like, no, yeah. It can work. You might have to learn some very difficult lessons along the way that are going to feel like you're being beaten down, but that's part of being here on Earth School. So it's something you got to go through, but don't let your imagination go away.
Yeah, that is another thing I talked about, just tapping back into it, because we can get so caught up in work,
right,
in life situations, and, so I went back to my childhood imagination in order to create this book that I have today. So
I love it. And Witty Kids, there you go. And diverse and literacy. Let's talk about that because that's a really, really important thing.
Yeah, it is.
You want kids to see themselves.
Yes, very important.
Right.
That reflection and that representation is very important. Like I said, for my daughters, I read to my daughters. Reading is important. I come from a household of education. Mm-hmm. So, every now and then you want to show them something that they can say, hey, that looks like me.
Right.
I can relate to that. So that gives them inspiration to say, yeah, I can do that too. In my children's book, the main character, her name is Jersey. And so she aspires to be like an engineer, an astronaut, and a director, and a chef. And she's all these different occupations.
I love
and so
it.
by Black children seeing that, and they can see like, oh, this child is an astronaut. Oh, it puts it in their mind like, you know what, I can also do these things because this character is doing that.
I gotta say, it's one of my most favorite things that I this trend that's going on now, where it's like you don't have to be what one used to consider the perfect body, which the perfect body changes over time too, right? And so it's kind of like, then all of a sudden there's the plastic surgery that you can go get to look like whatever the new body trend is. I'm like, oh my word. Let's not do that to ourselves. But I love this trend that I'm seeing where more and diverse people, and whether that be, age, race, abilities, whatever it is, are being now shown to us on all these different platforms, Netflix and Hulu and everything. I love that there's such diversity, because I growing up, really did feel like I had to be really, really tall, super, super skinny. Like that was how I was going to make it in this world. Like the people that were beautiful, they were the people that were going to make it. But because I was, kind of the average looking gal, it just wasn't going to happen. Like that was not going to be for me. And I love now that we're showing everybody, no.
You're right. And it's platforms for everybody now.
Yes, you can make your own platform.
Yes, you can. You can create your own, literally.
Some of you, we wish you wouldn't, but we won't go there.
Yes, it is. It's a platform for just about everybody. And like you said, you can create your own lane. And we live in a time where everybody's receptive to that as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And you can go ahead and get your people, the people that are attracted to you and the message that you're sharing and what have you. And so you go out to schools too.
I do.
Which I love. Talk about that.
Yeah, so I go to elementary schools. The beginning of last year, I actually had my first college appearance.
Cool.
So I was asked to speak at SLU's. They have an entrepreneur one-on-one kind of class,
right?
And I was their speaker for that quarter. And
I love it.
I know, I was like, wow, this is really fun, because I was once in that position. I went to college as well,
right?
So that was my first experience doing that. But then I do mostly elementary schools, either assemblies or just gonna kind of go into their library time and just read the book to them and offer encouragement. I've done a few after-school programs, which is really fun and exciting. That's more of like a hands-on kind of thing. Which I like that as well.
I love it. Yeah. And it's important. So what did you talk to the college kids about?
So it was an entrepreneur class. It was entrepreneur one-on-one. So
how to be an entrepreneur, like how to take what's in your imagination
yes.
and make it work for you.
Come to life. Yeah. I talked a little bit about the process of me writing a book, but it was mainly like being an entrepreneur, like learning how to tackle certain things on your own. And I was also able to offer advice, so I come from corporate world. I did corporate for about 13 years. So I have both sides now. I have the corporate experience.
Great.
And I have the journey of
That's
working
helpful,
for myself.
Isn't it?
Very helpful.
'Cause I did the same thing.
Yeah.
I had the corporate world thing, and then I was like, this is not me.
Yeah.
I can't fit in this world. I need to go out on my own. But the corporate world experience was very helpful.
Oh, yeah. I learned a lot of my skills, honestly, from being in the corporate world. A lot of my leadership skills, a lot of my project management, a lot of my daily interactions. So, yeah, I learned a lot.
Because when you're an entrepreneur, you have to do all of it.
Yes. Which is fun. It's just a little harder.
It is, but we've chosen the world, so there you go. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back with Rebecca. What do you want me to make sure to talk about?
So I feel like we've covered the book. I mean, I could continue to talk about that more, I guess.
But I mean, you have a lot going on. So what else to talk about?
I guess what's next for me.
Okay.
Because that's where I'm at right now. Like, what's next? I'm pushing my book.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm thinking about entering the podcast world. I'm thinking about consulting, like.
We can help you with podcasts. Sam and I know all about that world.
Awesome.
Even we're actually taking everything up to the next level too. That's with amazing. The whole marketing behind it, and it's become it's become a thing.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's a great way to get your message out. And for me, this is so fun that I get to know people a bit more.
Yeah, and they get to know you.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much fun to me. You know, and I love it with our TEDx speakers because, you know, we don't get to, I mean, I get to see you guys and go through the process and, you know, watch your talk and everything, but it's like, I really get to know them.
Oh, yeah.
And the audience doesn't really get to know you as much. And so this is a great way for us to be able to share everything.
Yeah.
A little bit more.
So, yeah, we can either talk about what's next. I don't know, maybe my day-to-day. You know, I mean, I am a mother of 2 girls.
All right, cool.
So-
Let's get to know you more.
Okay.
Awesome sauce.
All right.
Ready when you are, Sam.
All right, here we go.
All right, we are back with Rebecca Clark. So let's talk. We've talked about your book. What's on the horizon? What's new and happening with you?
Yeah. So, you know, so I have been a full entrepreneur for about 4 months. Just 100% entrepreneur. Because
Really?
I just walked away from my corporate job in September.
Wow.
Yes.
Ooh, how did that feel?
Yeah. Well,
Was it a little scary?
It was very scary.
Yeah, it is.
The transition from corporate to like, okay, I'm going to do this on my own. I don't know how. I don't know what challenges are going to come to me. So yeah, September the 20th was my last day of working in the corporate world.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. So I've been there for about 11 years. And so now I'm just like, okay, this is the journey that I'm getting ready to embrace.
Right.
Being an entrepreneur 100%. Being an author has been very fun and fulfilling, and I'm going to do some things with Witty Kids, working on a curriculum and some things that I can bring into the schools
That's cool.
to encourage that creativity and that imagination that I was talking about.
Right.
So those are some things that I'm working on with Witty Kids. But I'm also, you know, I'm interested in doing some other types of work, consulting, business management, helping entrepreneurs, helping them with their career goals and things like that. So I know I have a long list of things, you know, that I'm going to get out.
That's
hopefully.
good though. And I mean, to make that list, because, you know, it may not be something. So I know myself, I have this list that I think I'm going to do that. And you know, all the things I was going to do in 2019, oh my word, no. I could not get to all of it.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
or
impossible.
something else would come in, like, you know, there's surprises like along the way, good surprises. You're like, oh, this opportunity just showed up. I think I need to go do this, you know. But I think it's good to have a list of things, because I think one of the big issues with most entrepreneurs is we can't just do one thing.
Oh, yeah.
We aren't those people.
Yeah.
We are the people that, and you know, when people are always like, you're so busy, I'm like, yes, and I chose that.
Yep.
I must like being busy.
Yeah.
Because that's just how it's been.
Yeah.
You know, I like juggling a lot of things. I like having a lot of things to do. If I were just doing one thing, I would be sad and my brain would be sad.
Yeah, because we're chasing. Entrepreneurs are technically, we're still chasing.
And we want to try things out and see if it works. And, you know, we've gotten to that place of being okay when something doesn't work.
Of course.
You're like, all right, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah. And then you move on to something else, or you figure out what was the reason why it didn't work, and so you kind of try to change things around.
Right.
But yeah, that's the beauty in that type of process. You can fall back on it.
And your girls get to see you do all this, which is a great lesson. So you have an 11-year-old
And
already
4-year-old.
starting up the whole teenage stuff, and a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
But they get to see their mom
Yes.
working. I mean, what a great education that is for them.
Yeah, and it's actually very fulfilling for me. For both of my girls, my 11-year-old, you know, she's deciding like now, like, you know what, I think I want to have my own little business. So she comes to a lot of the events with me. She was at the TEDx event.
Awesome.
Yeah, she came. And I also did a really big event called We Day in April.
Tell us about that. I noticed that. What's that all about?
Yeah, so We Day is it's a youth empowerment kind of a ceremony for students, and it's an internationally, globally known stage.
Cool.
They travel all across the country, and they do these events where they have about anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 students pack out an arena, and you have all these speakers that are offering encouragement and activities. So this year in April was the first time they ever came to St. Louis.
Okay.
Yes. And
What
so,
does we stand for? Is it WE? Like, does it stand for something, or is it just we?
It's I don't know if it stands for anything.
Okay, got you.
But yeah, if you were to look it up, it's like We Movement
Gotcha.
or We Day.
Okay.
But back in April, St. Louis was that was the first time they came to St. Louis. Yeah, so
And you got
to
to
be
be a part
selected
of
for that,
that.
I was like, oh my God, that was really cool. It was like 2,500 students in the audience.
Oh
and that
my
was,
gosh, how
amazing.
fun.
And so my daughter was also there. I love for my daughters to see that, you know, it's not one way to do things now. You have all these different outlets that you
Almost
can experience.
too much.
Almost
but
too
it's
much.
like you have to figure out how to in a healthy way, weed out the things that you don't. But I do feel like kids nowadays are like, not, you know, if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
thinking you're going to grow up and be an accountant or a nurse or a vet or whatever, you know, well, there's a whole bunch that you can do with that
Yes,
now.
it
You know,
is.
you can be a veterinarian, but you're going to have your own TV show,
Exactly.
you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and then for kids, it's all about YouTube. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
like,
Oh, right.
Oh my gosh.
They all wanna be a
like,
YouTube star.
Everybody wants to be a YouTube star. And so my 11-year-old, she feeds off of all this that I'm showing her and that I'm introducing to her. And so I was an athlete as a child, and so my daughter is also an athlete. So my kids, I don't know, we're really close. My 4-year-old, you know, like, she just sits there and just watches me. She may not be able to come to the events, but most of the time there's like footage, or I have like my cell phone.
Yeah.
Or I've done a few news interviews, and so she'll be like, "Mommy, pull that up. I want to watch that. I want to watch what you did."
Oh, I love it. I love it. And again, I mean, I think it's really, really important for kids that watch their parents do these awesome, and watch their parents have days where you're like, oh my gosh, everything's just falling apart.
We've had those.
I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do right now. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
we've been there, right?
have,
You
yeah.
know, and I don't think it ever goes away. I mean, even when you get to that place where everybody else is looking at you and going, they're so successful.
Right.
There's still this thing you're like, am I? I think I still. What if that went away? And you start to, you know, freak yourself out. And you're like, wait, I got to get out.
Yeah.
I can't put this energy out there, you know.
Definitely. You know, I always tell myself, people should probably interview my 11-year-old. So, because she knows the behind the scenes.
Let's get her on.
She knows what it took. You know, like, she sees me stressing out. She sees me trying to prepare, like, for the TEDx thing. You know, like, I would wake up at, like, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning just to try to memorize, you know, like, my talking points. And so, she'd be a good person to talk to. She knows a lot of what it took, you know.
But the thing I love, what I have always thought was important, and the thing I share with people about being an entrepreneur is that you're going to hit every single part of you. Every single part of you has to grow to do this.
Yeah.
So it's not just the business you, but it's the personal you, the spiritual you, the emotional, the mental. All of that has to grow to make this work.
Definitely.
If you're going to make it.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't get to not ignore a certain part of it.
Oh yeah, no, especially not that personal growth, and especially not that spiritual growth. Like, it's all in one package.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's all part of this
you can't
entrepreneur.
just-
This thing we call entrepreneurship.
Yeah, this thing that we call that. You know, like, what is it anyway?
Well, and here we are in St. Louis, which is like the #1 in
I
women,
know.
women entrepreneurs. Well,
Yeah.
yay us!
That article was like amazing when I
I
seen that. I was just like,
know.
and I'm a part of that.
Yes.
Like, that's really
It
cool.
says we need good news about St. Louis.
Oh,
so
yeah,
anything I
definitely.
see that's good news, St. Louis, I'm like, please, everybody, share this. Share
Yeah,
this.
yes.
You know.
Yep, that was a good fact.
Well, we're going to take another quick break, and we will be back with Rebecca. It is so true. I was so sad after New Year's when it was like, 5 minutes into the new year, we had all these murders. I'm like, oh, why? I can't look at this. I need and I really do feel the more good energy we get out there and start getting people to feel good about this city, the better it's going to be.
Yeah.
But of course, there are things that have to change.
Yeah, the crime, it's just heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. And I know it's not everywhere. It's really concentrated in little areas, but that still means that's still a community issue, not just that little area. Like, there's something amiss here. It's like Ferguson. Like, when people were like, oh, and I'm like, something was going on there.
Yeah.
Something none of us know about because we aren't a part of that community, but something was amiss that brought that to a boiling point.
Yeah.
So why don't we, not everybody's great at learning from things. They keep telling us that we learn from history. I'm like,
I don't know.
think we do. I think we don't. I think we just wish it would go away or something,
And
you
we just
know,
try to
when
keep
there's
moving and try to put band-aids over it, and you know, like, I don't know, you know, like they put that Ferguson Center right there. That what is it called? It's right on Ferguson. They built a brand new initiative center.
Okay.
I can't think.
All right.
Ferguson one thing. I
don't
can't think of the
know
name of it, but brand new, beautiful building. You know.
And is that a Band-Aid?
It's just, it's like a Band-Aid because it's like the Quick Trip is still everything is just still like a complete mess.
Oh.
So, I mean, I don't know.
There's a guy I'm hoping to talk to, David Kirkman, who is from Ferguson, and he just did he's getting some accolades for he's a videographer, filmmaker, and I just watched his movie. It's like 44 minutes long, and it's called Static Shock.
Okay.
And Static is apparently a superhero. I'm not really I don't know a lot about superheroes other than the ones I already know, you know. But it's like a fan film that he made, and I watched it and I'm like, oh my God,
Really? And he's from St. Louis?
yes,
David Kirkman.
David, if you're out there, I sent you an email.
I'm gonna write it down.
Please look at your email. You could be on this podcast with us.
And I'm probably gonna reach out.
Yes, and Rebecca will be calling you. You've got fans, David. You didn't even know you had. But I was watching it, and I was like, there's one scene where I was, they're in Medici Media Space's warehouse, you know, and I'm like, how many things have been filmed in that warehouse? And I was like, oh yes, that's Medici. And then I saw some friends of mine, their logo in the background. I was like, hey, your logo appeared in a movie, and I bet you guys don't even know it. I'm going to watch it.
Nice.
All right, I'm ready when you are. All right, we're back with Rebecca Clark, and it's question time. Are you ready?
I hope so.
Okay, so you already talked about being an athlete as a child, and that was actually one of my questions. Like, what was your favorite sport?
Yeah, so as a child, I started running track at 7 years old. AAU, which is Amateur Athletic Association. I probably messed that up, but something like that.
Something.
So yeah, I started running at 7 years old. So track and field was always one of my sports connected to my heart because I ran all the way up through high school, and then I had that experience where I did not get my scholarship in college that I thought I was going to get. And I talked about that on my TEDx talk. But my favorite, aside from track and field, my favorite sport would probably have to be, I don't know, maybe basketball.
Okay.
Yeah.
But track and field is a big, what were your favorites in track and field? Because there's a lot.
Oh, yeah,
in track and field.
Very big sport. But I was a runner, so I ran 300 hurdles and I ran the 400 meter dash, which is just one time around.
Hurdles freak me out.
Yeah, you gotta have a good trainer, and you gotta know how to get over the hurdles.
I'm pretty sure I should never have. It's a good thing I didn't do that because I don't know that I would have. But when I see people do those hurdles, I'm like, dang, that looks hard.
It's mental. It's mental.
Yeah. Well, a lot of sports is.
Yeah. And honestly, track and field, it's a mental sport. Cause,
you gotta really,
basketball, football, hockey, soccer, you're playing with a team.
Right.
You can pass the ball to your teammate.
There you go.
You can
it's all just you.
Depend on somebody else when they have the open shot. But no, track and field, you start that race and you finish that race.
It's you. And my gosh.
Yeah, so
track and field and basketball. All right, gotcha. And I was going to ask you about Wee Day, but we already went through that. So you went to Southeast Missouri State.
I did.
Tell us about that experience, your college experience.
Oh, you want to hear about college?
You don't have to tell us the things that we shouldn't know.
No, to be honest with you, college was really fun for me. It was, I don't know, I did expect to have a more more in-depth experience in college, but it was me and my friends. We just, I don't know, I think we were just kind of by the books in college. I think we kind of had a boring college experience.
Boring?
Sorry.
That's good.
I was in a relationship
what every
the whole
parent
time.
wants their kid to have, is the boring college. Like, I just studied a lot.
I mean,
you know.
Yeah, like Southeast Missouri State was not really a huge party school.
Okay.
So we made the best of it. You know, we did travel a lot. I traveled a lot in college.
Where did you travel?
You know, like TSU, so Tennessee State University, which was like maybe 4 hours away. Went there a few times. I used to go to Carbondale a lot, which was only 30 minutes away from me.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I was in a relationship the whole time in college, so, you know, it's kind of like a...
That's okay.
See you guys later. Have a good weekend.
I'm
in.
going to go study.
So, yeah, but college was fun. I got my Bachelor of Science, and so at Southeast, they had like a Polytech department, which was basically built off of new media and technology. So half of my classes were like Photoshop and InDesign and Illustrator. So I know how to make websites. I know how to make flyers. So that's where my creative side came from.
Did you illustrate your book?
I did not illustrate it, but my illustrator did go to Southeast. We went to college together.
Cool.
And so he's very talented. His name is Chris House. He's also located in St. Louis. Yes, but I was very involved in the process. You know, I knew what I wanted it to look like.
It's like, here's what's in my head.
Yes,
you need to make it happen here.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I love it.
Yeah. So I had that creative side, and then the business side was the other side of my degree.
I totally think they should make a cartoon series out of Witty Kids.
Animation is like, I'm speaking it into existence, you know.
Yes.
I want that animation.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's the first thing I thought of when I saw. I was like,
awesome,
this should
yay.
be, you know.
Yeah.
So put that on your list of things.
It is.
All right. So you're a mom.
Yeah.
We talked about mom,
Mm-hmm.
and I know you love being a mom.
do.
You exude it. But tell us about maybe a favorite mom memory.
Yeah, I do. I love being a mom. And a mom of girls.
Yeah, I do
That's
too.
another gift.
I've got the daughter, and I love it.
Yeah. I don't have any brothers, and I have sisters. So I've kind of been brought up.
Lots of female energy going on here.
Yes,
all right.
Female energy. Even though I am a daddy's girl, you know, being a mom, it's just so rewarding, and seeing them grow from babies until like my 11-year-old now, and just seeing her progression and the decisions that she's making, and she hangs around a really good group of kids.
That's important.
And so that's also rewarding as a parent. It's just
yes,
like,
it tells you you're doing the right thing. Or when you meet the kids' parents and you like them, you're like, all right, good job, kid.
You're like,
you know,
let's keep this going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. My favorite mom memory, of course, is having children, you know, seeing my children come into this world. But for my oldest, my favorite memory of her is that, like I said, she's also an athlete.
Right.
And so she's also part of that AAU association that I started running when I was 7 years old.
Okay.
And so, which is a competitive organization. So I remember she was 8 years old, and she had to compete with other 8-year-old girls. She was running the 100, and she won the race. And she's like, "Mom, did I win? Did I win?" And once she ran that race, that qualified her to go out of town to like the district meets.
Yeah.
To go to the next level.
Right.
And she just instantly started crying. I said, "Sydney, you won." She was like, "That means I made it." And it was just, I don't know, it was just so touching because she was just so excited because she worked for that.
Right.
And so that was so exciting for me.
That's fun.
My 4-year-old, I have several memories of her, but one specifically, she's been watching me in my entrepreneur journey. That's all that she's pretty much known. She's 4. And so I started Witty Kids back in 2017.
Okay.
And so right when I started it, when I published the book, because as I was writing it, that's when I had just gave birth to her. So it was in 2015 when I started writing.
She is definitely going to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and so it's in her spirit. So at 2 years old, when she sees all these papers in my room, and I have like a whiteboard, and I draw out all my ideas and like a brainstorming kind of thing. She sees all that. So one day, you know, she gave me a piece of paper, and it was just like a lot of scribbling on it.
Right.
And I was like, and her name is Phoenix. I said, "What is this?" And she was kind of pointing to the board. And so she was trying to show me that she was
writing.
drawing my whiteboard.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yep.
So Phoenix is 4-year-old. What's an 11-year-old?
Sydney.
What's her?
Sydney. And
Okay,
Phoenix.
gotcha.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, how fun.
Yes. Sydney
Yeah,
and
no,
Phoenix.
I think there's something about my daughter was going to meetings with me
Yeah.
during the summertime, and I just told her, I said, you're in entrepreneur school.
Yep. Okay.
So this is what you're
This is
doing
it.
over the summer. I'm going to put you in entrepreneur school, and you're going to go to meetings with mom, and you have to be really good. And she was. I mean, she was
Good.
awesome. But I think it taught her a lot about, one, putting yourself out there, but also how to behave in front of adults. And she knew at a very early age how to talk to adults. Adults were often, that was one of the things they'd say to me, like, man, your kid knows how to talk to adults. How'd you do that? I'm like, entrepreneur school.
Yeah.
We do it every summer.
Yeah.
You know.
You should try it.
I had no idea that was going to be the case, but awesome. I'm glad
That's
I did
great.
it. So, yeah.
That's great. Great learning.
Well, tell
experience.
everyone where to find you.
Yes, so I am on social media. I'm on Facebook. Rebecca Clark for me, but then Witty Kids also has its own page
Okay.
on Facebook. It's Witty Kids Book on Facebook. And then I'm also on Instagram. Instagram is Witty Kids Club.
Gotcha.
And then my website is www.wittykidsclub.com.
Awesome.
Yes.
So you're easy to find. You really are.
Very easy to
I
find.
just Google.
Yeah.
You'll find her. I Googled. I found her everywhere.
Yay, thank
Well,
you.
Rebecca, thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you.
in here and being a
was
guest
fun.
and sharing even more. I love it.
Thank you. This was fun. Thank
Well,
you for
good.
having
That's what
me.
it's supposed to be.
Yes.
And everybody out there, you have been listening to MichMash. Please go to iTunes and subscribe. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye.